Joining us now, Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, also a close friend of the president-elect. Senator, welcome. An impeachment trial would not start until at least January 20th. Have you gotten any more clarity from leadership, McConnell or Schumer, about when exactly this trial could start or how long it would last?
Jake, I don't have more clarity about exactly how long it will last. But there is precedent for the Senate bifurcating or splitting an impeachment trial, as happened under President Clinton, that allows the Senate to continue doing its ordinary business while also spending some part of every day conducting a trial. I think it is urgent that we move forward with confirming President-elect Biden's skilled and senior team for his cabinet, and that we move forward the details of the stimulus bill that he's going to unveil later tonight in an address. We are at the worst stage of this pandemic ever. 4,200 Americans died yesterday, and we need to provide urgently another round of relief through stimulus checks, support for rental assistance, extended unemployment benefits, and in particular, support for speeding up vaccinations.
That's right. Biden will be unveiling, I think it's $1.9 trillion proposal for a COVID relief bill that has all those things that you just mentioned. Senator, in terms of the impeachment trial, there remains so much that we don't know about this attack. It was 8 days ago. Would it make sense for there to be some sort of investigation first, not just by the FBI or the U.S. Attorney or the D.C. Attorney General, but also maybe by some sort of House and Senate joint special committee that investigates what happened?
Well, Jake, that's part of the things that are being discussed between my colleagues now, is the tension between wanting to move forward quickly, put the core agreed upon public facts in front of us and have a vote, versus developing the record further, having an investigation that may reveal even more damning evidence of the president and his role, President Trump, and his role in inciting the violence that resulted in the assault on the Capitol last Wednesday. I don't have a clear picture on the path forward, but we are balancing between making sure that it's a fair trial that has a fully developed record and making sure that we can move forward with addressing the pandemic, with confirming the cabinet, and making the kind of progress that President-elect Biden is calling on us to do.
That's right. President-elect Biden has made it very clear that he doesn't want anything to hold up his agenda in terms of fighting COVID, in terms of getting his cabinet confirmed. Does he have concerns about the Senate doing an impeachment trial when he wants to try to get the country back on track?
Well, President-elect Biden has said that now that the House has passed an historic second impeachment vote against President Trump, the Senate needs to do its part of this constitutional exercise. But he is focused on responding to the pandemic, bringing our country together, and delivering badly needed economic relief. That's what he and his team have been focused on. And so I think that falls to us in the Senate to come up with workable rules. I am encouraged that Majority Leader McConnell, the majority leader for the next 6 days, has said he is open to impeachment. We all recognize that there has to be accountability for the heinous actions of last Wednesday. I think many members of Congress are still shocked and somewhat traumatized by the loss of life, by the violence and the suddenness of the assault last Wednesday, and by real concerns for our safety and for the security of the inauguration at our nation's capital and the threats to our state's capitals this coming week.
Have you been talking to your Republican colleagues? How many of them do you think are open to the idea of convicting President Trump? Obviously, a number of them are going to be up for re-election in 2022 and probably don't want to arouse the wrath of Trump's supporters. I mean, do you think that there are 17 Republicans who would vote for this?
I don't know, Jake, whether there are or aren't. There have been a number of forceful public statements by colleagues of mine who are Republicans. Obviously, House member Liz Cheney, one of the members of House Republican leadership, gave a concise, forceful, clear condemnation of Trump's actions. And there have been a number of forceful speeches on the Senate floor and statements publicly by Republicans in the Senate saying that he clearly committed an impeachable offense. The challenge is whether after he leaves office, assuming, and that's an assumption, that happens safely 6 days from now, what their path forward will be then. There's been chatter back and forth about what the options are, what the rules of the impeachment trial might be. But as you said earlier, Jake, in the absence of a fully developed record of exactly what happened Wednesday,
Right.
it's hard to predict how many will come down on the side of conviction.
There are other people other than President Trump and other than the people who actually physically went into the Capitol who are responsible. I've heard a number of Republicans and Democrats, of course, grumbling about Senators Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, who really opened up the idea of these votes to overturn the result of the election as they made it a bigger thing with their willingness to consider it, even though Mitch McConnell had been trying to tell them to not do it. I know some people have called for their resignations. What do you think? Do Hawley and Cruz need to face some sort of consequences?
Well, Jake, I'm among those members who have called for their resignation. I think it's striking that the hometown newspapers of in several of their communities from their two states, some of their longtime mentors and supporters have spoken out against their actions. And as you just referenced, Jake, the majority leader, Mitch McConnell himself, urged them not to move ahead with a groundless attempt at overturning the certification of the vote, something that was unprecedented in terms of that coming after a president refusing to accept the legitimacy of an election. And the consequences in terms of the assault on the Capitol last Wednesday. I think this is also an issue that is going to face us this coming week and where there's still going to be a lot of debate about what's the appropriate next steps.
All right, Senator Chris Coons, Democrat of Delaware, thanks so much to you, sir. Appreciate it. And I'm glad you're okay after that Capitol terrorist attack.